Hi everyone, welcome to this video where we are going to talk about object in Move programming in simple and beginner friendly terms. What are objects in Move? In Move, objects group resources together so that they can be treated as a single entity on chain. So objects in Moves are like boxes that hold resources together. They make managing and transferring data on the blockchain much easier. Whether you are building NFT games or complex app, understanding objects in Move is very important. You have a box where you can store various items like a few books, a toy, or maybe even another smaller boxes. This box is like the it's like an object in Move programming language. So instead of carrying each item individually, you can simply carry the entire box. In the same way, Move object allows you to group related piece of information or piece of data called resources, and you manage them together. Now now there are some key things you have to note about Move objects or about object in Move. Now, why are they important? They are important because they have unique address. Object in Move have unique address, like just like an account. An object has its own unique address on the blockchain. Secondly, they hold resources together, just like other wallets hold money or cards. An object can hold various resources like number, string, or even other objects. Now, the third thing about object in Move is that they make transfer easy. Instead of transferring resources one by one, you can transfer the whole object just like handling over the entire box to someone else. Now let's look at the example. Now the model is named Object Playground and is defined under the address called my address, which is a name address. And if you notice, we are importing some tools from the standard library. We are importing signer and we are importing the string and the types, the string itself and it types. Then we are also importing from Aptos framework, we are importing the object that we are going to be working with. Now, the first part is this struct name my struct is a resource. So we have two structure, both are having the key value. So these are a resource that we're going to store inside the object. The resource we are going to store inside the object later in this function. Now, if you look at my create, look at this function, we are seeing entry. This is a function that can be called outside the publicly, can be called or interact with by the user. So the function is declared fun. That's how function is declared in Move programming language. Then the name of the function is create and transfer. So when we are having two parameters being passed to the function, we're having two parameters passed to the function, and inside the function, let's see how an object is created. Now, this in this particular line of code, line 16, you can see that we are using the tools or the signer tools to retrieve the authority from the address caller that is being passed. We are using the signer tools to retrieve the authority, and we stored it in a variable called caller address. Then the next thing was that we in this part, the next line, we created the function, we created the object rather. We created the object and we use this how it was created. Object, then create object, then we pass in the user's address, the person that called the functions, we pass in the address. And if you notice, when we pass in the address, it will return a constructor ref. So an object is created, we created the object using the caller address as the owner, then it returns a constructor ref which act like a reference to this object. Then we are generating a signer for the object because remember already the an object has address on the blockchain. So we are generating a signer. You know what a signer does? A signer is the one that has the ability to sign transaction. So for this object, we are generating a signer, and this is the function that the method that will use object generates signer, and we'll pass in the constructor ref which we've gotten when we created the um, object from the beginning. From in the previous line, you see that when we created the object, it returned a constructor ref. That constructor ref was now passed into this method, object generate signer, in order to get the signer for the object that has been created. Getting the signer means the authority to modify or to transfer um, resources into the object. After generating the signer, we will be able to transfer the object because this signer will authorize the transfer. So we call in the move method, move tool. In this move tool, we are moving the my stroke one, which is a resource. We are moving it into the object, meaning this object signer is signing the transaction of the transfer. So we are moving the resources that we have into the object. That's what is happening here. Then in this other part, we are also moving the second resource into the object. All right. In this particular um, part, we are converting the constructor ref into a real object. We're converting the constructor ref into a real object, and after doing that, we transferred the object to a different user. So we transfer the object to a different user. Remember, the constructor ref is used to create a concrete object called instance. So that's what happened here in the code.